Hey, it's your pal Mike Shea from Sly Flourish here with another episode of Sly Flourish's Lazy D&D Prep. This is a show shot 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Times on Twitch, in which I go through steps from Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master while preparing for my Sunday D&D game. In this case, I am running a Eberron homebrew game called Eberron the Last Mourning. This show, like all of the work of Sly Flourish, is brought to you by the patrons of Sly Flourish. If you want to support the show and all of the other work that I do, you can do so by going to patreon.com/slyflourish and becoming a patron. Patrons get access to a whole bunch of exclusive things, including Discord and tips and tricks and adventure generators and a free adventure. So there's good reason to sign up, but the best reason to sign up is to help keep shows like this going. So last game, if you recall from my last session, I made a terrible mistake. And my terrible mistake was I ended the session without knowing where the characters were going to go next. I didn't know. I had these big places. They're in the city of Making, which is in the center of the Mournland. They are trying to get to a place called Claw Rift to prevent the Droam and the leader of the Droam, the daughters of Sora Terrazza, from building the next weapon of mourning. That's the current story. They are 11th level. And I ended it with them having crawled through a derelict airship and then made their way into the city walls of Making. And I knew that in Making, I have lots of big places they can go. I can show this in a point crawl map. So in Making, I have lots of places. We will go down to the point crawl map here. We'll open this. I have all these different places that they could go, right? And they came in from the Skydancer wreck. So I had the Fortress of Blades was a place they could go to. They could visit Claw Rift. There's the Daughter's Earth Moat. They can't go there directly. And then there's Silver Flame. So there's major locations that they could go to in Making, each of which are their own like mini dungeon kind of places or even full dungeon kind of places. So I knew that there was essentially a handful of ways to get to Claw Rift. The Fortress of Blades had a way in. The Daughter's Earth Moat has a way in. And the Silver Flame, the Spire of the Silver Flame had a way in through the Shadowed Laboratory and any one of those. But I didn't know which way they were going to go. And I know I'm going to offer these locations, but I don't know where they're going to go. I didn't have anything prepped for the Fortress of Blades yet. I didn't have anything prepped for the Daughter's Earth Moat yet. I had already run the Silver Flame Spire and the Shadowed Laboratory because my Wednesday group went through that. So if they chose that, I would be lucky. They didn't choose that. In fact, they chose to skip the Fortress of Blades and said, we're going to go to the Daughter's Earth Moat. And that was cool. And now the good news is my games are short. So they're only a 2.5 hour, 3 hour game, which means that for them to get from the wreck of the Skydancer into the Daughter's Earth Moat took the whole session. They had encounters along the way. They went along this road of dead machines and the dead troll, the wars between the trolls and the what do they call it? The Lord of Blades guys. They got in a big fight. And so the remnants of that, there was a lot of things for them to deal with and interact with during the game. It wasn't padding. Like, I think I let them spend time talking about it. So, and then there was the big question, how are they going to get in the Earth Moat? The Earth Moat's 100 feet up. It's flying in the sky. How do we get up there? It has no windows that we can see. There's sirens flying around the outside of it. How are we going to get up there? And they came up with they used their 5th level spell that opened up a gateway. And they used an arcane eye to sneak up a sewer pipe into the bathroom of the 2nd level, and where they saw a troll doing his business and reading the paper. And they opened a gateway into the bathroom. So the troll's just relaxing in the morning, doing his morning constitutional. And a portal opens up and 6 adventurers come pouring out. And he's like... And he reaches for his axe. And they had a big fight against a pantless troll, which was, that's Dungeons & Dragons. That kind of thing happens in Dungeons & Dragons pretty regularly. So, and then we ended the session with them all piled into this 10-foot bathroom because it's troll-sized bathroom. They're all piled in this 10-foot bathroom, and they hear things on the other side, and they're there. And that was where we ended, which meant, excellent. Now I've got time to prep where things are going to go. And that's what we're going to do here today. So let's go back to our notes. And as always, I am using Notion to manage my campaign here. I have now managed pretty much the entire Eberron campaign in Notion. I think I started with Sublime and text edits stuff, but then I've moved everything into Notion. And boy, I love Notion for doing planning. So we're going to generate a new session planning template, a new session planning sheet. We put the dates. It is 10 January 2021. And this is Sunday, Eberron. Okay. We review the characters. Who are the characters in today's game? We have Saber. Saber is a shifter, bounty hunter, monk of the four winds. I don't know that there's any... Saber. One interesting thing happened with Saber, which is... and I want to talk about this because this is really cool. Scar. We have a new... we have a new NPC named Scar. New page in. I'm going to put in the Eberron database. Eberron campaign database. And we go into Scar and we make him an NPC and a villain. And so Scar is rival of Saber. And what did Saber... So Scar, fellow shifter who tried to take down the order. He's like an evil monk. Yeah, so this is cool. So there's a... I can't spell. Evil monk who tried to take down the... How do you spell monastery? So, kind of a fun... We should look for cool shifter pictures. And we put Scar. So now we've got Scar. Monastery. Monastery. I don't know why spell checking doesn't work in Notion particularly well. There's something about it. Underline stuff, but then when you right click it, it doesn't work that well. So now we've got Scar. And Scar, so I think a secret include today. This is why we review the characters, is because sometimes you hit a character and you're like, oh, that'd be cool. And so one of the secrets includes is that Scar is with the daughters here in making. So that's why we do it. We do it because there's a secret. And we can sometimes generate secrets and clues by looking at the characters, and we just did. We have Zarentir Delander, who is a member of House Delander. House Lyrindar, and House Lyrindar, probably people are driven crazy every time I talk about that. House Lyrindar is a noble house that deals with airships and stuff like that. And I don't think that there's any major. So it could be like what? So this could be fun. What powers the Earth Mote? Right, like the Earth Mote could be powered off of something. This could be a secret. And it could be something that Zarentir could figure out, which is probably deep within. Oh, I know. Within the courtyard of the Earth Mote. Within the courtyard of the daughter's Earth Mote is an old dead tree tied to. And we need, I need a plane. So one thing about Eberron is all the planes are different. I need their version of the Shadowfell. Let's go to source books. Let's go to Eberron and planes. Where's the planes of existence? Is in here somewhere. Planes of existence. Mabar says Snark Knight, and you're probably right. So let's take a look at Mabar. The Mabar, the Endless Night. Shadow units to consume life. So is this mostly undead? Is there like an unseelie fae kind of place? The Twilight Forest. Great Beasts, Lycanthropes. This is pretty good. Intoxicated Druid. That might be. Rezi as ice. Shavoth as a battleground. Azure Sky. Fairy. Thalanis. Does it have an unseelie side? Fae and aroma, narrative, metaphor, many governments. Time and space are both malleable in the Fae court. Thalanis. So what do we think if the daughters, maybe, I should look at my Exploring Eberron book on the daughters and see if they have a connection to an outer plane at all. But I'm not going to do that right now. So and we have Zoriat. So, what do we think? So there's an ancient dead tree in the center of the ziggurat. The dead tree is connected. It's drawing energy from, it's essentially another mobile manifest zone, drawing energy from this other world and using that world to kind of keep itself up. The portal is sort of swirling with energy that's keeping it aloft. Which world do we think it's best? Mabar, Endless Night, Lamania, the Twilight Forest, Kithri is Turning Chaos. Probably not Kithri. Irene, Eternal Dawn. That's Hope and Happiness. Nope. Fire. Realm. So Dolora is the Realm of the Dead. So yeah, I think you're right. So do we think Mabar? I kind of like Mabar, the Endless Night, because it's got dead stuff. These are hags. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. And Mabar looks an awful lot like Ravenloft, So, deep within the Earth Moat is a Kyber crystal. So deep within the Earth Moat is a Kyber crystal drawing energy from the Endless Night. Disrupting it could send the Earth Moat to the ground, crashing to the ground. So now the characters have a way. Mabar is evil Babar. I like that. Now I need an evil Babar in my. Imagine that. What's the what's the elephant race in? Is it in Ravnica? We need a villain made out of that guy called Mabar. He's the evil Babar. Loxodon. We need an evil Loxodon. A Loxodon lich called Mabar. Oh, that's fun. So, now I got to put that in a game. Shift is the first Warforged. Juliet has not been at a game in the last few weeks, so I don't know if she'll be at our game today or not. I hope she'll be back. Crazy times. Shift is the first Warforged. She is, her patron is, what is it called? The Lich Queen, Lady Elmaro of the Emerald Claw. We have Shane Husk. Shane is a Hobgoblin notable author who realized. So yeah, I have a kind of a fun thing I want to talk about that happened last week. Kind of realized he wants to be back in Sharn. He's not sure field work is for him. Banner is a follower of the Becoming God. And a paladin, a Warforged paladin follower of the Becoming God. And, so far has steered away from the Lord of Blades guys. He's not real interested in confronting the Lord of Blades guys. And then we have Chi Sizu, who is a latent dragon-marked member of House Civis and helped the character's reach making and helped rebuild Karshak into a new entity. Karshak, the sentient Warforged train, has now become something else. I forget the name of the new entity. So those are the characters in today's game. Let's go back, and we have reviewed the characters. So what is the strong start? My mic back. Sometimes my mic craps out when I touch it. Valis. Was it Valis? I think you're right. So the strong start is a knock at the door. Another troll wants to use the facilities. That I think is just as good a strong start as any. So scenes. So I'm not going to worry too much about the scenes. But I do want to worry more about their goal. What's their hook for being here? Find a path into Claw Rift. You know, when they, as invariably, because players don't think about their game as much as we think about the game, they might not remember that why they're here. Like, why are we here again? What's our goal? And their goal is to find a path into Claw Rift. You know, find a way to get into Claw Rift. You might cut out just as I switch. Yeah, my mic, I think it's like when I touch, I have like a Velcro thing on here. I don't know what's going on with the mic, but sometimes when I touch the mic, it craps out. And it might be something loose in the mic. I'm not sure what's going on. Mic is old, 10-year-old mic. Time for a new mic. So, that's really the goal, right? And I guess I don't have to worry about too much else as long as I know that that goal is set. I don't really have to come up with a bunch of other scenes. But basically, they're going to crawl through the Earth mode of Sora Cal and find the path into Claw Rift. And maybe they do it all today. I'm not sure. Today, next week, somehow, they're probably going to make their way into Claw Rift. One of the secrets is they're Sora Terrazza. By the way, I made, we should go take a look at them. So if we go to the Daughters of Sora Cal, I can now link these. Sora Ketra, Sora Mania. I think these are all spelled wrong. I should go check the spelling. And Sora Terrazza. But let me go in here because I think I spelled them wrong. So let's look at Daughters. Daughters of Sora Cal. Sora Cal, Sora Mania. This way I can get all my names right. Mania, yeah. Terrazza. I think I might already have that one spelled right. Look at that. I got that one right. And Sora Katra, K-A-T-R-A. So for funsies, who would like to figure out what art I chose for the three daughters? We'll go to the NPC villains. I think, are they marked as villains? They're not marked as villains. We got to mark them as villains. Because, boy, if they're ever villains. Daughters of Sora Cal. Sora Ketra. She is a villain. Right? There's Sora Ketra. Sora Mena with her big maul. She's a villain. And Murdoch gets the answer. The comic book Monstrous, which is an awesome comic book. I totally don't understand the storyline, but it is an awesome comic book and has awesome, awesome art. And yes, it is from Monstrous. Sora Terrazza. I just think they look awesome. Doesn't that look awesome? Villain. So I needed, as I'm doing this, I needed character. I needed specific ones for each of them because they are separate. So Sora Terrazza is here in the Earth mode. The 4E art from them was very good. Really? What did they look? Yeah. If you find me a link, I'd like to see what the picture was like. The picture that was in Exploring Eberron wasn't bad, but it was pretty generic. I think it's the one. I think I'm using the art in here. This art, which is not bad. But I thought it was like, let's be cooler and let's use that art from Monstrous because they just look awesome. There is a portal in the Earth mode that leads to Skyrift, Claw Rift. Only Sora Terrazza has the key. The key is a wand of wonder. The Daughters of Sora Cal. Yeah, that's not bad either. It's definitely 4th edition style. Like, oh, we can't put a top on anybody. But I think I dig my, like, look at that. You know, I don't know. It's cool. I dig it. I dig her big hat. So that's 5 secrets. What other secrets do we have? Well, the big one, which may get revealed today, the daughters are not here in making. They have sent simulacrums. The daughters would never risk themselves. Of course not. So they might learn that if they beat her and she turns into snow, and they'll be like, "What? She turned into snow." That's because she is a simulacrum. The daughters are after. The daughters want to build the weapon of making, so we can say why. The daughters want the weapon of making. Should be capitalized. So they can become a recognized nation, ratified in the Treaty of Thronehold. That's their goal. That's what they want. They want to be a ratified nation. They want to be protected and isolated, and nobody will ever fight our borders, and nobody will ever try to depose us as long as we have the weapon of making and can do something as horrible as what happened in the Mournland. What else? The daughters had their own giant Eberron, or giant dragon shard. So I think we're going to take this, which they are using to channel the energy of Claw Rift into the weapon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 2 more secrets. Are there other secrets that the daughters? How about the daughters believe that Sora Kel is still alive? Daughters believe that their mother Sora Kel still lives. That's a good one. What else? Any other big interesting secrets that we've got? Let's see. So I don't want to give up too many of the Claw Rift secrets here because they're going to actually get to Claw Rift. I don't know. We'll hold the secret back. So now our fantastic location, obviously Earth Moat. Daughter's Earth Moat is the big one. The other one is Claw Rift. So we're really coming to the end. I'm ready to be done, right? So they're going to get through the Earth Moat. The Earth Moat's going to get them to Claw Rift. They go into Claw Rift. They kind of hit the final situation. Political position drum is being threatened. Yeah, it's not a bad idea, but I think I've got enough complication for all these different groups that are trying to get the weapon. So I don't think I need to have anything there. I think that I kind of like the fact that they are so powerful and so strong in that area. NPCs, we have the daughters. NPCs, we have the daughters. I think I already linked them up above. I guess I can link to them here. Sora Terrazza is certainly one to link here. Is there any other NPC? Like, it's always kind of fun to have other NPCs here. Are there any groups that the characters might run into that they wouldn't immediately go to war with? Sort of non-combatants, if you will, that are here. So some Goblin Artificer might be kind of fun. So I like, let's see. I need a name. We go to links. We go to NPCs. Rolf. How about Ruby? So Ruby the Goblin Artificer. The novel Queen of Stone is a great look at the drawing. That's cool. I should have read it. So I think that might be a Goblin Artificer who's wandering around here. There could be the Caretaker. The Caretaker is kind of the one who manages the tree. He's not a combatant either. His job is just the tree whisperer, right? What would be an interesting... He could be a Loxodon druid. He could be Evil Babar. Loxodon Dark Druid. I'll make a card for him. Is there... Do we have a good picture of a Loxodon? Looking for Loxodon pics. Perhaps this one. That's not bad. Yeah, we'll take that one. Copy image. Thank you. Stick that in here. So, the Caretaker. New page in Eberron database. Link to it. Put the image. NPC and taker for the ancient in the center of the there goes my happy childhood memory. And the dead tree in the center of the Earth mode. The daughter's Earth mode. Cool. Evil Babar. Dark Babar. Cool. So I don't need any of this anymore because I got a card form. Okay, so that's good for NPCs. Monsters. We have Cyclopes. We have Medusa. We have ogres. We have trolls. We have Ettins. I think Ettins would be fun. We have harpies. And we have, I already have Medusa. Any other kinds? They're all big things. Who is their like working group? Goblins, I guess. All right. So that's good for monsters. I can look them all up as I need to. Deadly Encounter benchmark. They are level 11. There are 5 to 6 of them. So half of 55 is 20. Math is hard. 27? Is that right? 54 would be 27. So 27 to, and if they had 6, it is 33, right? So somewhere between 27 to 33 is their benchmark. So who is Sora Terrazza? What stat block do I want to use for Sora Terrazza? So she is a we can look at the NPCs. She's a hag, but I'm not really using, so we'll look at hag. Probably a night hag. So she's part night hag, but she's also like a really powerful one. So I don't think that her stats are just going to be night hag. So we're going to mix some stat blocks here. She is also, her spell casting, there's a lot of good spellcasters in Volo's guide. So if you ever are looking for like different kinds of spellcasters, for NPCs. Volo's guide is great. And we go back here and we go to non-playing characters. She an abjurer? No, so she's a seer, right? So what's the seer type? Not conjurer, diviner. She's definitely a diviner. Night hag diviner. Whoops. Night hag diviner. Let's look up dusk hag. That's pretty good. I'd give her way more hit points, obviously. But yeah, dusk hag is probably better than night hag. Cool. Does she have magic items? What magic items would if you were a dusk hag diviner, what kind of magic items would you want? What are so she has one of the, she carries one of the emissaries. Which one does she carry? She carries Vroon. Why is it not finding it? Ah, come on. Vorn. V-O-O. Damn it. Not Vroon. Vorn. Carries. Vorn. One of the emissaries of the Dreaming Dark. So that's pretty powerful. Robe of Eyes. Did we do Robe of Eyes before? I don't think I dropped the Robe of Eyes in. So the fact that she wears a Robe of Eyes is probably pretty great. Can she do things with her crystal ball that are really nasty? Yeah, she's canonically blind, right, which is why wearing a Robe of Eyes works really well. She's totally got the Ray of the Coos vibe. Yep, I think so. I think she's probably tougher than Ray of the Coos. Ray of the Coos is really bad, but I think she's more dangerous. The copy has yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, why would the... I think there's probably something that if she dies, Vroon gets teleported back. So she can't lose. Even Vroon I think Vroon will be called back, you know. That it's enchanted. There can only be one Vroon, but Vroon can be geezed or whatever, not geezed, but contingencied, that if she dies, it disappears and returns back to the actual Sora Terrazza. I think we'll definitely do that. It's probably enough toys for her. Let's go back and take a look. Whoops. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. No, I don't want to generate another session planning template. Oh, stop. It takes forever too. What just happened? I just got a warning and I clicked past it. Well, we'll see. So we have Robe of Eyes. Any other, what would be some other good treasure? Does she have a pet? So you remember, would a giant snake be too much for, like, what would Sora Terrazza, what kind of fun pet would she have? Her secret pet. What would be good there? Do you think? A giant constrictor snake would be, that's a little cliche, right? That's a little Voldemort. A big spider. I don't know. Let me poke through the monster manual and see what comes to mind. Source book, monster manual. A basilisk. Oh, a basilisk, right? Because she can't see it. How about a pet basilisk? Right? And she doesn't have to worry because she's blind. So she probably has a few pet basilisks. And they're tough. Basilisks require that both can see each other. Petrifying gaze. Creature starts its turn within 30 feet, and the two of them can see each other. And she can't see it. Now, she's got the Robe of Eyes, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that basilisks, that the petrifying gaze, it starts its turn within 30 feet of the basilisk. Two of them can see each other. Basilisk can force the creature to make a save. On the failed save, so she's immune. I don't care what it says. Sora Terrazza is immune. And we're going to make these big, beefy, dire basilisks. So here's you want a Sly Flourish one to grow on. Here's a Sly Flourish tip. If you want to make a dire version of a creature, a dire version is essentially like a big alpha version of it. Double the hit points and give it an extra action. Double its hit points, double its attacks. And now you've got a dire version. So if I take a basilisk, I can do it in my head. I don't have to do anything else. It has 104 hit points instead of 52, and bites twice instead of once. And now it's pretty nasty. And the DC can be increased too. You can increase the DC by a couple points. That's my dire basilisk. What are they called? What does she call her basilisks? What's a good name for basilisk? Or a good name for like a group of basilisks? The adjudicators? The council? She calls them the council. The observers. Yeah, the observers are pretty good. And they'll be Chisel and Hush. Those are both pretty good. Cool. All right. So we got, not a lot of time left, and I need to fill some stuff out. So we were talking earlier before the show about how do you actually fill out a location when you've got it. Oh, and here I can get rid of my Wednesday group. So I'll go doop. Think. So I need to fill out the ziggurat, so the daughter's earth mode. And one of the things I was talking about is I would typically prefer to annotate the maps, but I don't have time. I don't have the tools on hand right here to annotate the maps easily. So instead, what I do is I just go counterclockwise. I make a list and I make it in Notion, and I do it counterclockwise from the map, and just sort of, because I am the one doing it for myself, I know what label goes to what room. I don't need a key. I'm not handing it to someone else. The usability would be terrible for anyone else, but it works for me. So essentially here, I'm going to start with this room at the 3 o'clock position and say, what is this room? So this is floor. So I already did floor 1. So we'll do a quick review of floor 1. And because I'm probably not going to get to floor 1. Floor 1 is mostly the soldiers of the Droam in the ziggurat. So the ziggurat is a great big stepped pyramid. It's about 5 levels high. It's got the lower base is the biggest level, and then it gets smaller as it goes up. And there's stairwells and things that lead up. So we had the front entryway, which they chose not to go to. We have guard quarters in the upper right. There's statues in the hallways. There's a couple of armories. There's then the main hall to the lower galleries. The lower galleries is where the dead tree is, and there's 4 statues of 4 Droam heroes. Then there's a private alcove that's impervious to scrying, where you can have secret conversations. There's also a statue of Sora Terrazza herself. There's the shrines of the Dark Six are back here. So various members of the Droam worship the Dark Six. There's the statues. There's an escape hall. I'm probably going to make this a secret hall that can just people can run through if they need to. And then we have the barracks for the troops, right? The barracks for the various members. So that's floor 1. Floor 2, and then I got 3, 4, and 5. I don't know how I'm going to fill all this out. So floor 2 has in the far right here. We will probably start with this lower area. This is probably the prison, right? The cells. So prison of the Earth Mode. Which might mean that, like, who are the prisoners that are there? I don't know. Maybe I'll think about that. But I only have 10 minutes left, so not a lot of time to think about it. So we have this main chamber here. This large chamber, and what would that be? So that's connected to, the prison. So that would probably be what's like the area of the prison, the galley, the jailer. That'd be the jailer, and then the jailer's quarters. Don't know who that is. Maybe an Etten. And that wouldn't make a good one. Then up here, we have sort of the baths and the bathrooms. And that's where our characters infiltrated the place. Over here, these are probably, we're going to call them the pleasure dens. And not creepy pleasure. It's like where music is played and art is kept. It's where the Medusa... It's the Medusa quarters. They get nice quarters with nice things. They probably, smoke a little interesting stuff, and they listen to music, and they have artwork and stuff like that. Nothing creepy. I don't know about this secret passage. Maybe there's a secret exit out of this way. There's like a secret tunnels that they could exit the facility here. That'd probably be pretty good. And then if you go into the central area of the upper gallery, right? Which shows you what's down below at the tree level. So that one's done. So we had a list here. So I can get rid of this. I don't know. I might have to review that list real quick. So this level, we will start with the smallest level. I might trim that out. Like, do I need another big level? Probably not. Well, I don't know. This is where the laboratories are, right? So there's laboratories here. There is... We don't need a teleporter to Droam. Summoning chambers. Dark laboratories. We don't need the giant or troll barracks. Artificer. Are the Artificer labs. Chamber of the Crystal, which is now empty. Time packs. A library. The Black Library. Maybe a Portal to Sharn? I give him a way out. I'm not going to bother with that. So that's that level. Let's see. We'll call this third level. And then we have fourth level. Yeah, I'll do heading 2. Fourth level, we have the scrying chambers. And the dens of the daughters. And then fifth level, is the portal to Claw Rift. Yeah. So that's fine. And I think I've got enough. So encounters, we have Medusa Mages, Cyclopes, Trolls. We could do... Oh, I like the idea of a Rakshasa Lord of Dust ambassador. But we also have Sirens. Let's go to my game notes here, because that's another good NPC is Baleful. That's a terrible name. Barnabas, the Rakshasa ambassador to the Lords of Dust. That's kind of cool. Oh, and then so we have a druid, orc druid prisoner. What is his name? Or their name? Let's run a random NPC. Galatea. That's kind of cool. Orc druid prisoner. One arm. Getting along with that. Going along with the monstrous theme. So that's pretty good. I've got room for one more secret. So I just added, and now that I've gone through the Earth mode and I've added like locations for all this stuff. You'll note, and this is a slight change. So you'll note that in Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master, I often recommend a place plus 3 interesting features of that place. Recently, I've started going to more places with an evocative name. So you can see that like I've got a lot of locations here, right? That I just hammered out one right after the other. And I don't really describe them much more thoroughly. And it's not a big change. And I think what's in Return still works. But I know that my own behavior has shifted slightly, where I'm more interested in writing down just a couple words, a couple of evocative words that are enough for me to be able to describe what else is in a chamber. And I can generally improvise the rest. It means that it's a lot faster for me to make a lot of locations so that when they're doing a deeper dungeon exploration, it's pretty well set. So I think... let's see. Add labels to this. So now I've got, I didn't really need to do that, but I did anyway. But I was talking about secrets. Is there one more secret I've got? Anything else that the druids or that's a secret. The daughters have been treating with the Lords of Dust. So who are the Lords of Dust? Let's take a look. I don't know anything about them. Lords of Dust. Evil entities spawned at the dawn of time still haunt Eberron. The cities raised by those ancient overlords are now only ashes, but the Lords of Dust still dream of restoring their primordial dominion. These fiends bide their time in inconceivably long games, sparring with the dragons of Argonesson as they manipulate events in order to fulfill the words of the draconic prophecy in a way. They serve great masters known as the Overlords. So there's lots of good secrets here. So I'm going to grab this this whole line of secrets here. So now if I click Lords of Dust, I will get a whole description of Lords of Dust that I can then vomit forth upon my players so they can learn all about the Lords of Dust. And I think there's other, so that means that we have, in the monsters type, we have Rakshasa. But I also think that aren't there Eberron Rakshasa? If we go to the source book, Rising of the Last War, Rakshasa. We've got these guys. I guess it's just the one, right? The Zakia are bloodthirsty foot soldiers. So there's probably a handful of these guys. What were they called? Zakya. So I've got regular Rakshasa. And I've got the Zakia Rakshasa. Cool. So we have hit an hour. I've got lots of monsters. I've got lots of interesting locations. I've got my pile of 10 secrets and clues. I've got a goal, which is for them to get to Claw Rift. I have a good, strong start. They're inside of a bathroom. There's a knock at the door. The other troll's like, hey, this is the best one. All the other ones are drafty, and I want to come in there. And they have to figure out how to deal with that. And then they make their way through the Earth Moat of the Daughters of Sora Call. I think it's going to be a fun adventure. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to running it. So I think we're all good. So I want to thank everybody today for coming along and on my journey to prep my game. And I will be back on next Sunday. By then, we will know what the new book is. And I'll be on next Sunday, and we'll see how it went. And we'll look at what we're going to prep by then. So hopefully, in that time, you can get out there and play a little D&D. Have a great day.